Why does love feel so effortless in the beginning and then becomes so confusing later on? Have you ever found yourself wondering, is it normal to feel this way? Or maybe even thought, if the passion faded, does that mean the love is gone too? If these questions have ever crossed your mind, take a deep breath. You're not alone. The truth is, love isn't a straight line. It's not a fixed state, and it's definitely not some magical promise that keeps itself alive. Love is a psychological journey, an invisible map of emotional phases that almost no one ever teaches you about. But understanding that map, that can change everything. In this video, we're going to explore the 8 psychological phases of falling and staying in love. Knowing where you are in this cycle can radically transform your relationship with love, with yourself, and with the people you care about. It can also protect you from the anxiety, the pressure, and the painful belief that you're somehow doing it all wrong. Because here's the truth, you're not loving wrong. You've just never been taught how love really works, psychologically, emotionally, and practically. Let's start with something crucial. Love doesn't come fully formed, and it definitely doesn't sustain itself without effort. There's a natural cycle that almost everyone goes through, but hardly anyone notices. The saddest part, because they don't recognize it, many people walk away from relationships that could have truly worked. Others stay trapped in loops of frustration and self-blame, convinced that they're the problem. Today, that cycle will become visible. And once you see it, you might not experience love the same way again. Phase 1, fascination. This is the spark, the honeymoon haze. Everything about the other person seems incredible. Your brain is lit up with dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline. You're in a state of hyperfocus. Everything they say or do feels magical. Their smile, their text, their laugh, it all becomes a kind of emotional high. But what's actually happening here? You're projecting. You're not seeing them clearly. You're seeing who you want them to be. Phase 2, curiosity. The initial attraction shifts into an intense desire to know the person. What do they believe in? What drives them? What are their values and wounds and dreams? This phase is exciting. It feels like discovery. But it's also when your brain quietly starts asking, are we truly compatible? Or was this just chemistry? Tiny mismatches or friction might appear, and it's the first time you realize this person is real, and real means layered. Phase 3, obsessive passion. Now things get intense. Your thoughts orbit around them. You want to be close all the time, texting, calling, planning, imagining. The brain releases massive amounts of dopamine. It feels euphoric, addictive even. And here's where it gets tricky. We confuse this rush with true love. But often, it's a potent mix of fantasy, infatuation, and unresolved needs. The tiniest sign of distance can trigger anxiety. That emotional roller coaster, it's not sustainable. But we don't know that yet. Phase 4, reality check. This is the crash back down to earth. You begin to see the flaws, the habits, the differences. They're not the perfect person your mind painted. The chemical high starts to fade, and a quieter clarity kicks in. Most people panic at this point. They assume the love is dying. But what's really happening? You're shifting from idealization to reality. And if you lean in instead of pulling away, this is where real love can begin. Phase 5, vulnerability. Here come the shadows. Your fears, insecurities, past wounds, things you thought you'd buried start to surface. You might wonder, am I enough? Will they still want me if they see the real me? This is the phase where emotional walls start to crack, where love stops being just chemistry
and becomes a risk. And for many, this is terrifying because most of us were never taught how to feel safe while being emotionally naked. Phase 6, deep bonding. If you make it through vulnerability, you arrive here, real emotional intimacy. It's no longer about performance or perfection. It's about presence. You open up, you're seen, you listen, and you're listened to. You connect. Love shifts from a feeling you chase to something you build. This is where reciprocity grows, where empathy becomes the glue, where you learn that love isn't found, it's formed. Phase 7, secure love. This phase is quieter, but so much richer. The emotional roller coaster calms. The obsession softens. What rises is trust, a sense of safety, stability. You realize that mature love isn't constant fireworks. It's showing up day after day. It's knowing that someone is there, not just when it's exciting, but when it's hard. You stop chasing spark and start creating warmth. Phase 8, conscious commitment. Now love becomes a choice, not just a feeling, not just a reaction. You stop asking, do I love them? And start saying, I choose to love. I choose to stay. I choose to grow. This is where the relationship becomes a conscious co-creation. It's not perfect, but it's real. And real is where healing happens. Because the most beautiful relationships aren't the ones without conflict. They're the ones where both people stay awake and keep choosing each other. And maybe the most healing thing you can hear right now is this. If you've ever felt lost in any of these phases, it doesn't mean you're broken or bad at love or that the love is gone. It just means no one taught you the map, but now you have it. Let's quickly recap. 1, fascination. 2, curiosity. 3, obsessive passion. 4, reality check. 5, vulnerability. 6, deep bonding. 7, secure love. And 8, conscious commitment. Understanding this doesn't just change your love life, it changes your relationship with anxiety, with your inner critic, and with your story. You don't love wrong, you are just navigating blind. Now let me ask you, which phase do you usually get stuck in? Or which one are you in right now? If this video hit home for you, drop a yes in the comments and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Because your mind matters, your story matters, and you matter.